Hey, ladies and gentlemen, once again, welcome to our channel. I hope that you're doing fine and hope that this video does find you in absolute good health. Now, Blood Parliament documentary, a documentary that's been trending from 2 days ago that was released by BBC, highlighting the happenings of the demonstration that happened in Kenya during the financial bill demonstration and especially around Parliament. Most interesting about this documentary is that BBC has gone ahead to reveal nani alipiga risasi the Gen Zs who were demonstrating, and it's what we call kazi moja safi that has been done by the BBC Africa, because if you watch the documentary you will not be left with any question. You'll know who shot, who was shot, and even who gave the orders to ensure that to ask those officers to shoot. And even in that documentary, one of the officers is captured giving orders to his colleague officers, telling them to shoot the demonstrators who are demonstrating around Parliament buildings. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a really interesting documentary, and what is also interesting is that BBC Africa has gone to an extent of even identifying that during the demonstrations and the shootings at Parliament, there was a Kenya Defence Force officer involved because of the regalia that officer was wearing. Remember that they have taken more than 5,000 photos and videos, and they have analyzed and they find a true picture. You cannot doubt the work of BBC, because it's a very clear picture. They have gone even to analyze the distance of the officer to the person who was being shot. They have followed it, how the demonstrators came into Parliament and how they were walking out of Parliament, and the position of the shooting officer who shot some of the demonstrators at Parliament. And as I've told you, one of the officers identified is alleged to be a Kenya Defence Force officer because of the regalia he was wearing. Remember that the uniform that Kenya Defence Force officers wear has there's a badge that is on the shoulder that I think is a Kenyan flag badge, and it's identified to be a Kenya Defence Force officer. But we'll be waiting to hear what the Minister of Interior will be giving or saying about those allegations. But also another unfortunate thing is that BBC had, after releasing this documentary, it wanted to have it aired live on BBC Africa television yesterday. I think that was on Monday evening, but they cancelled that screening and claiming that due to the pressure that they're receiving from the Kenyan authorities. I think it was I think that documentary was going to cause a huge impact worldwide, because BBC Africa is a worldwide watch television. But even through the documentary, right now as I'm speaking, it has over 2.3 million views. Just 2 days and it has 2.3 million views, and a lot of people have been watching it. It's very emotional to watch that documentary, because you'll be very sympathetic to those Gen Z who died. And also one thing I've realized from that documentary is that there's a Kenyan student journalist called Ademba, I think Ademba Alans, if I'm not wrong of the name, who stands out to be a hero from that documentary, because we had hardly not seen some of these videos while people were being shot. Imagine watu wanapigwa risasi, you are a group of youths running for your lives, mtu anapigwa risasi while others are running away. This student journalist was going back to pick those who had been shot. Kumbuka kuna wale walikuwa wanapigwa risasi maybe mguu, mtu hawezi tembea, and they fall down. Instead of this student journalist running away for his life, he was going to pick them down from there and trying to pick them, and at the end of the day he survived. And I think he is an hero from that documentary, and he is an hero also to be celebrated, because he stood out to be one of the persons who was fearless during those demonstrations. If you watch him, I think it's Adem Balance. You can tell me what you think in the comment section about his courage. That is his weight of courage to stand out during those demonstration. I think that's what we call true heroism. Watu wanapigwa risasi, wewe uko pale, haujui risasi inatokea wapi, but you cannot leave your colleagues behind. You are picking them to ensure that they are taken to safety. I think that is a very big that's a very big act of courage which you need to celebrate from Alliance Ademba, who is a student journalist. But most importantly, ladies and gentlemen, that's all I have from for the documentary. If you have not watched that documentary, it's under the BBC Africa. I cannot share that documentary because of the copyright issues. You know how it works, but it's entirely a BBC Africa documentary, and they have done a wide consultation with the Kenyan Defense Forces, with the Kenyan government, with a lot of they even consulted the local televisions, borrowed some documentaries, and that's what entirely happened at those demonstrations. Have a nice day, ladies and gentlemen. Stay safe and be well whenever you are.